So I think the number one thing that keeps me feeling good is nutrition. But I also think it's everything that we talked about already of not only do I have a community who's pouring into me, but I also have my mission and my why determined. So I always say this, like it's one thing to wake up motivated. It's another thing to wake up motivated with a plan and a reason why. Like you can wake up listening to a motivational speech and you'll feel on fire for 20 minutes. You'll feel great for 20 minutes. You wake up with a plan, you wake up with a reason why and a mission on where you're going and a clear set mission of here's where I'm going and here's why I'm going there. Man, that motivation is going to last so much longer. And then even when the motivation runs out, you're just going to keep going. And that's when people dig down deep. That's when 12-hour work days and entrepreneurship, like we talked about in the very beginning, that's when those become easy. That's when you don't mind, next thing you know, 12, 16 hours pass and you've been working the whole time. But man, I got a mission and I got a reason why. So physically, food, gym, but mentally, I think plays a huge role because I think oftentimes people, again, lack that purpose. So they don't feel good if you lack purpose. Of course, you're going to start identifying with your problems and then fixing them. It's easy to identify with the problems than it is to fix them. So, but if you have no reason to fix them, why fix them? Because you're getting the attention when you have the problem. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, that's powerful. I love this line, garbage in, garbage out. You consume bullshit and that's what you're going to create yourself. And that's why a big focus of my message to people is stop with the entertainment. Like podcasts single-handedly changed my life. And that's why we're here today doing this, because a couple years ago, it started with the stock market, then it transferred into more like personal development, Jordan Peterson, Ed Milet, Chris Williamson, just learning about the mind, the body, history, authoritarianism. That's a big one. I'm also like, at the same time, very aware of where our government's going and where the New World Order is trying to head things. But that's also, it's like one person, our job is to impact people and get their health and their mind right, because one more person with a healthy mind is that much closer to that better world, that our creator wants, that our creator has meant for us. But I don't want to rant too much about things. I mean, that leads me to ask, what type of things are you consuming mentally on a daily basis, a weekly basis? What are you feeding your mind to keep yourself going? And then also another question after that is, how do we help people create their long-term visions? Because like we spoke on, when you wake up every day and you know what you're working for, life becomes much easier. So one at a time, brother.
Yeah. So number one, my input, your input controls your output. Like you just said, garbage in, garbage out. My input is primarily podcasts as well. If I'm looking to seek further education, a big thing that I did was auditing my consumption with social media. So going on my Twitter, going on my Instagram, I don't use Facebook, but I know a lot of people do. Going on your social medias, where are you consuming content from? Where are you consuming? What's your input coming from is the first thing to understand. And I think a lot of people don't realize when you wake up, because most people wake up, roll over and look at their phone. When you wake up, roll over, look at your phone, get on Instagram, and you see a post from someone you don't enjoy, or you see a low quality input, that is starting your day off so terribly. That's just such a bad way. And you're probably, if you see a post from someone you didn't like in high school or an ex-girlfriend or whatever it is, you're starting your day off with some resentment. You're starting your day off with some negative, bad energy. So this is why it's so important to control your input, not only because it'll have a quality output, but it's going to affect your mood every day. It's going to affect your ability to work, the things you can focus on. It's going to affect all this, your happiness. And so I audited my consumption was first thing with my social media. I went through everyone that I'm following. If you don't provide value in my life, gone. I don't care who you are. I don't care if we grew up good friends and we were good friends through high school. If I don't have a relationship with you today and I don't value what you're putting on the timeline, gone. Do not care. And that led to some hard conversations. I had some old friends texting me like, hey man, why'd you unfollow me? Here's why. You don't provide any value in my life. Like, easy as that. And it's hopefully forced them to reflect like, man, what am I doing with my life? Not helping anyone. So that's the first thing I did. I went through my social medias. I just unfollowed everyone that I could, everyone who wasn't providing me value. The next thing is, like you said, Jordan Peterson, Ed Milet. Like, Ed Milet is my number one podcast that I listen to. I listen to him probably 2-3 podcasts a day. And that seems crazy to a lot of people, but I do it when I'm working out. Usually, like when I first wake up, when I'm getting ready in the morning, when I'm preparing breakfast, whatever I'm doing in the morning, I'm listening to a podcast, and then while I'm working out, another podcast, and then 2, sometimes 3, if I got a long drive or something like that at the end of the day, or, any time that if I'm folding laundry or something like that, that's when that third podcast comes in, or I'm finishing up that second one. So podcasts have been huge. But I know a lot of people don't like podcasts. Like, there's some people who don't like it. And so if you don't like podcasts, look to books. Look to these successful people that you want to be like, even if it's just following them on social media, a book that they've written, a podcast that they've put out. Look to these very positive, very successful people that you want to be like and consume their stuff, and you will start to become like them.